You only really need to know a handful of phrases in Japanese to make your trip way easier. So let's start with the most important. 大丈夫です. So roughly this means I'm okay or no thank you, but it's one incredibly versatile phrase. If staff ask if I need a plastic bag when I'm buying something and I don't need one, I say this. But it's also good to use if someone offers to help you, like with buying a ticket or directions or something, and you don't actually need their help. I probably use this at least 10 times a day, so learn it first. To remember it, just think of Des, who thought he was okay working hard every day, but then died doing his job. Die job des. You probably already know that politeness is a bit of a national obsession here, so knowing how to say excuse me is crucial. Sumimasen. Sumimasen also means sorry, so again, it's a multi-purpose word. I'm saving you actual time here. And the way to remember this is, well, think of Sue, who likes to send memes. Sue meme sends. And then, of course, when this gets old, she has to say sorry to her co-workers about all those unnecessary meme emails. Now let's say it's your second day in Japan and you're all ready to go sightseeing. And first, you need to take a train. But when you get to the station, everything's very confusing. Even though the departure time matches the one on Google Maps, you're still not sure it's the right train for you. No worries, just pull out that sumimasen and then say, この電車は京都に止まりますか? Does this train stop at Kyoto? But you can even shorten this just by pointing at the train and saying 京都に止まりますか? And you can remember this by thinking of Tom Hanks meeting Bill Murray on the train which has stopped. And they're in the mask car, perhaps forever, just like in the terminal. すみません、京都に止まりますか? Hopefully, unlike Bill and Tom, you won't be indefinitely stopped on the train and you can get along to the ramen shop you've had pinned in Google Maps for months. But hula hoops and hiccups, there's no English menu when you arrive. But don't worry, I've got you covered here. First, you can always ask, what do you recommend? With おすすめは何ですか? Which you can remember with the story of going out to lunch with Sue, Sue's clone, and Mei from Totoro, and asking them all if they want to eat some naan or a desk car. Yeah, I know, I'd go with the naan too. But then there's another alternative which is best used when you've actually got some pictures to look at, so you can point and say, これをください. And the way to remember this is Corey took a long time looking at the menu. So long, in fact, that when he picked something, he really could sigh after giving his order. これください. これください. It's kind of close, but you'll remember it. You can also use ください when you want to ask for a spoon or chopsticks or really anything else. Of course, at restaurants, while Corey is still deciding what he wants, he might have the problem of staff coming over to take his order when he's not ready. And actually, this does happen quite a lot. So if you want to let staff know to wait a bit while you're deciphering the menu, just say ちょっと待ってください. Imagine Corey again. This time he's waiting for his ramen to come, but he's so hungry he has to eat his chocolate toes. Or Chotto. Marty McFly has joined him for lunch, but again, he's waiting so long he could give the biggest sigh you've ever heard when he finally gets his food. Eventually, of course, it's time to pay, and for this you may find the bill has already been put on your table. But if not, just say すみません、お会計お願いします. For the last bit, let's imagine Cobra Kai, the famous karate dojo. But today, women don't fight, so only guys get smashed. すみません、お会計 only guys get smashed. すみません、お会計お願いします. When you get to the register and you want to tell the staff how you're going to pay, just add the word day to the payment method. So, for example, with credit card, that's クレディットカードで. With an IC card like Suica or Ikoka, again, just IC カードで. Now, before you leave the restaurant, you may want to visit the bathroom, and there are a few ways of asking where it is. But the easiest is トイレはどこですか? Now, the word トイレ comes from toilet, as you might have guessed, but the pronunciation is more like toy ray. So just remember, a toy ray gun shooting into a toilet. Of course, most of you are going to want to use Google Translate at some point. It's not perfect, but when you've decided to break it out, it's good manners to announce it so the other person knows to wait a minute or so while you type in what you want to say. So just use Google Honnyaku o Skaimasu, which means I'm going to use Google Translate. And you can remember this with Google's Yucky Honey dying and going up to heaven in the sky en masse. Okay, before we finish, let's do some easy ones. How do you say hello? Well, if it's before 10 AM, it's Ohayo gozaimasu, and anytime afterwards, it's konnichiwa, but around 7 PM, switch over to konbanwa. And the last one, thank you, is arigatou gozaimasu. You can get away with just saying arigato, but that's less polite. So go with arigatou gozaimasu. It's much more polite, and honestly, you'll use it so many times, it won't take you long to learn at all. I'll start you off with a story with this one. You'll have to finish it yourself though. For the first bit, arigato, just think of Harry, your friend, who's given you a gato, maybe for your birthday, and you're going to say thank you later. The gozaimasu, sort it out yourself. Think of something. So you're ready to communicate in some of the most common situations you can expect, but this won't save you from making some of the most serious mistakes that I talk about in this video here, so go and watch it before you ruin your trip. Okay, see ya.